You really need to ski or board Laax, Switzerland. Dude, they don't accept Epic or Icon. Sure, but 6 days here costs less than 2.5 days at most major US resorts. Bon, ben, c'est pas la station la plus grande du monde comme les Trois-Vallées en France. No, but it has the world's largest halfpipe. They actually mark freeride trails here, and one of the tram stations has a collection of vinyl and turntables that's huge. Quizás, pero allí nadie habla español, ¿verdad? I'll give you that one, though I did hear Spanish on the mountain yesterday. Let's cover reasons to visit Laax. Terrain parks. This is what makes Laax perfect for all you skiers and boarders who love those features that would kill me. I don't like air, but for those of you who do, this is probably your dream destination. 5 terrain parks with 90 obstacles, largest halfpipe in the world, an Olympic-sized pro kicker line, whatever that is. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it correctly. There's a reason that there seem to be more boarders here than any other resort in Europe, at least that I've seen. I skied with a boarder from the US in Ski Arlberg last week who made the same observations. There are no boarders. Well, at Laax, it's the opposite. Tons of boarders. And why not? They have snow parks ranging from whoop-de-doo and easy level park to no-name snow park, a pro to medium level park. And they even reopen the parks at night a few times a year. All right, that's all I got for the snow parks. I can't go in and show you because I'd probably die. Ouais, ça c'est sûr. All right, this is a yellow freeride run. I believe it's number 75. And hey, guess what? Fresh powder last night. Not much. And I think the issue is that we've had spring skiing. The past, like, see, here you go. There's some exposure, so you got to be careful. The way they mark these slopes is with one row of yellow poles. So you want to try and stick to that, particularly right now where there could be some light dusting over what's otherwise a rock face. So you can kind of hear that underneath I'm hitting some hard snow. Because of the spring conditions this past week, the snow has melted, frozen again. It's a little bit bumpy there. Melted, frozen again. And that makes it kind of hard and choppy, and there's all sorts of frozen tracks underneath. So don't want to be deceived by what looks like nice, great powder. One thing that Laax does, embracing the freestyle way of life, is they post the avalanche risk signs at the tops of gondolas and places where you might do these freeride runs. And Laax has won a bunch of rewards. You can see it down at the Laax base for best freestyle resort, best resort in Switzerland, a whole bunch. I mean, for sure, Laax has embraced this whole freeriding thing, which is awesome. But I can't say that these yellow freeriding slopes are much different than, for example, a ski route on the Austrian trail map system. There are 3 bases that provide you with access up the mountain. The Falera base station on the left side of the trail map with a chairlift, the Laax base station in the center of the trail map with a gondola and tram, and the Films base station on the right side of the trail map with 2 gondolas. I divide the mountain into 3 parts: the front face, the back face, and the top left. I'd say that there's sort of an intermediate face in between the front and back faces, which does offer significant terrain when the snow's good, but outside of that, it's really just a couple of red and freeride slopes that essentially serve as a link between the front and back faces. For those who love terrain parks, all of them are on the front face up near the Galaaxy mountain station. All right, this is Freeriding slope number 86 at the top left of the trail map. As you can see, it's noon and this slope has gotten pretty tracked out already. But hey, it'll be fun because there's still decent snow on it compared to what it's been all week.
This inclination is really wide. The air is getting warm.
Let's go over here a little bit.
I know you're the worrying kind. And is there any way?
Yeah, you want to head to the left
Or do you like not being fine?
because I've scouted out the slope a over there from the chairlift to the right. And if you head right, it's not as nice. But you can definitely feel all the crunchiness underneath this fresh snow. One cool option for accommodations is the Galaaxy Mountain Hostel in the Galaaxy Mountain Station, which is the endpoint for the tram from the base of Laax. It's a hostel, so there are options for shared rooms, shared bathrooms, or a private room and bathroom. But in March 2025, a quadruple shared room rate can be as high as 350 to 400 Swiss francs, which does include an airport transfer as well. So if you're down with the experience, hop on, spend the night, and get first tracks in the morning as a reward for your suffering. And that's the most legit ski in, ski out accommodations you can get anywhere, up on the mountain. Well, let's say you're not down for the hostel. Well, the Galaaxy Mountain Station also has a restaurant where you can have lunch. And as you go inside and explore, you'll see that the decor is totally whimsical and fun. I haven't seen anything like it at a ski resort. There's a control center where you can get information about the mountain and the weather, a collection of turntables with such an extensive selection of vinyl that the collection lines more than one wall. You have old VHS tapes and so many timepiece TVs from the 80s that my niece and nephew would simultaneously laugh and declare how cool it is. Maybe you can pop Blade into a VCR and break out some popcorn and get comfortable. And Galaaxy Mountain Station is also the starting point for a second tram that takes you further up the mountain. So when you head to that tram, a lion welcomes you in a library that you pass through to board the tram further up the mountain. I'm staying at the Laax base station in a one-bedroom apartment rental that can sleep up to 4 people. It has a washer and dryer in the basement and a gas grill outside. So I don't care what the temperature is, I definitely grilled up some steaks. 7 nights cost only $1,789. A great deal, particularly if you're splitting the cost with others. If you want to stay at a hotel with a base, you can choose the luxurious Hotel Laxerhof, or steps further away, the Riders Hotel. There are essentially 2 small grocery options. A Co-op Pronto, which would require a short walk or drive from the base and is the size of a 7-Eleven, but it does have chicken, veggies, and other full grocery store type items. Or more conveniently, Vogue, which is right at the base, significantly larger, though still relatively small, but has probably enough selection for most people, whether it be breakfast food, rice and other carbs, cleaning supplies, wine and liquor. If you want a full grocery store, you can drive down about 10 minutes to Lidl, which is in a town called, I'm going to mispronounce it, Schleun, where you'll find pretty much everything you expect in a regular grocery store. If you're not staying at the base, there's plenty of underground parking at the base complex if you drive there instead of taking a bus. The buses stop across the street. The base complex has a depot for storage where you find a lot of people storing their luggage for the day before traveling back home or before checking into their accommodations. The cost depends on how long you use it, but the max was 10 Swiss francs for 24 hours. And of course, the base has a couple of rental shops, stores like Burton, and one selling everything you'd expect at a ski store. There are multiple places to eat or grab a drink right next to the tram and gondola, including Snake Bar, Pizza Cafe Deli, which is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with indoor and outdoor seating, and El Tony. One thing that's striking is the modern architecture at the base. And when you walk into the Laax store, you get the feeling that Laax is going for that Equinox Health Club look. And it's working. It does seem pretty high-end. And no, the model tram hanging from the ceiling isn't for sale. Alright, now for Blue Slope, but I'm cutting in here on Black Slope number 26 because there was some good snow over there. We got some fresh snow last night. Oh, and now here on Black Slope 26, you don't have to take this slope to get to these blue slopes, which are going to be number 23 and number 30. This is what I refer to as the back face of the resort. And slope number 26 is kind of on the border of the back face on the upper left. Right about here is where slope number 30 starts. So this is a blue slope, and as you can see, not too steep, freshly groomed with some good snow on it. My approximation is that the footprint of Laax is maybe about the footprint of Breckenridge. So that's about the size, bigger than Snowbird and bigger than Jackson Hole. But even when you compare it to Breckenridge, the majority of Laax, or at least a large part of it, is above the tree line. And Breckenridge, the majority of it is not. So you're limited to the trails within the trees in Breckenridge, but here it's a lot more wide open. Like you can do what I just did at the beginning of this slope, cut in. And that actually makes it probably significantly larger than Breckenridge in terms of the terrain that you can actually ski or board. And one other tip, when looking at the trail map as we transition over here to blue slope number 23, a tip is don't be fooled by all of the trails that you see. Some of them, particularly the bottom of the trail map, are not actually ski or snowboard trails. They have cross-country trails, hiking trails, other things like that. Ooh, a little bit of air, which I don't like. And snowshoe trails. So you want to really pay attention when you're plotting your course as to how to get where you're going, because you don't want to end up on like a flat cross-country trail. Ever wonder how they maintain a half pipe? Now, I mentioned that the conditions right now in February are basically spring skiing. I was just in St. Moritz and Ischgl, Austria, and the snow was much better at those resorts. That's partly because the elevation at Laax is lower in comparison. The base is only 1,100 meters, and the highest peak is 3,018. Compare that to the base of Zermatt at 1,620 meters, St. Moritz at 1,822 meters, or Val Thorens at 2,300 meters. And peak elevations at Zermatt of 3,883 meters, or Verbier at 3,300 meters. It is what it is. Despite all of that, Laax offers a feel and features that the others don't. And like so many European resorts, there are plenty of places to eat on the mountain at Laax. Some of them will be sit-down table service like you find throughout Europe, but you will also have the ability to sit down, scan on your phone a QR code, order, have a number at your table, and they'll bring it to you. Or you can order directly and pick it up. The main question is which restaurant to select. All right, this is slope number 35, black slope at the top left of the trail map. Vorab Glacier is the peak, about 3,018 meters. You can see it's pretty steep right here in the beginning and hard snow. To get up here, you have to take a T-bar, and it is pretty long. So for those of you who are not a fan of T-bars, you may have an issue getting up to this slope. Now, when I think of the slopes here at Laax, my sense is that the resort is best for solid intermediates. Now, why is that? Because you can see this is a black slope, and we started out pretty steep and icy. That section will get more difficult as the day goes on and the snow warms up and you start to get bumps developing as people ski and board on it. But after that, you can see it's not that steep. It's about the type of steepness that a solid intermediate skier or boarder may love. Overall, Laax is about 75% red and blue slopes. Red under the Swiss trail map system is intermediate, advanced intermediate. I'd say it's like blue slopes in the US, but often a little bit more difficult. And blue is beginner, like green slopes in the US, but again, also sometimes a little bit more steep than your average green slope in the US. So 75% that type of slope, that makes it great for somebody who is a advanced intermediate, solid intermediate. You have a lot here at Laax. One observation about prices. Even though my accommodations this week are cheaper than they were at St. Moritz, Ischgl, or St. Anton, prices generally seem to be higher here at Laax. Lift tickets are 15% more expensive than those other resorts at a minimum. I'm looking for new skis, and what would have cost $700 at Ischgl or St. Anton cost $900 here, so I'm not buying them. I'm stuck with these for now. Laax does not accept the Epic or Icon Pass, so if you have one of those passes, you're out of luck. A 6-day pass in February 2025 costs 483 Swiss francs, which is cheap compared to US resorts, but more expensive than Ischgl or Ski Arlberg in Austria. Maybe that extra cost goes into maintaining the terrain parks that make Laax such a draw? Either way, Laax does have Equinox lift ticket costs. Again, for Europe. For North America resorts, it's a steal. Oh, and they do have a priority lane option called the Blue Line, which will cost you more, 41 francs per day when I was there. But during my 6 days, there was no significant wait in the regular line, so it wasn't worth it.
Chasing dreams. What you do, ooh. Don't let go.